Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Young and the Restless spoilers. Did the soap just hint at Paul Williams' return? Character comes back to solve daughter's death. Young and the Restless, Y&R. Spoilers imply that the cat is completely out of the bag now, and everyone knows that Heather Stevens, Vale Bloom, is not out of town clearing her head, rather, she has passed away. Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, dumped her over a bridge into a river, and it didn't take long for Heather's body to surface. As Daniel Romolotti's Michael Graziadei and Lucy Romolotti's Lily Brooks O'Brien, world crumbles, could a familiar face return to help ease the pain and get to the bottom of things? I&R spoilers imply that during the Thursday, October 3 show, Daniel had to make the dreaded phone call to Heather's dad, Paul Williams, dubbed Davidson. In an emotional, one-sided conversation, as fans couldn't hear Paul's responses, Daniel gave Paul the news about Heather's passing and asked him to come to Geno City. Could this foreshadow a return? As a long-time law enforcement agent and private investigator, Paul's comeback to GC would not only be for Heather's memorial and to be with Lucy and Daniel during this hard time, but he could place his investigative skills to good use and find Heather's killer, whether that's Sharon or not. I&R spoilers suggest that Paul's return is unlikely, but anything is possible in the land of soaps. Then again, maybe he does return, but all his conversations and meetings with others take place off-screen. There's only one actor who's ever played Paul, and that's Doug Davidson. Unfortunately, he was taken off contract in 2018 and was last seen on canvas in 2020. In fact, Paul's exit storyline to Portugal and failed marriage to Christine Blair, Laura Lee Bell, all took place off-screen. Many fans were upset when Paul exited storylines and the character was brushed under the rug. After all, while he was on the Y&R, he was the longest-serving character on the show. While there seems to be little chance that Doug Davidson could be enticed to return, especially since he wasn't part of the Y&R's 50th anniversary special back in 2023, Y&R viewers can only hope that there is a chance Paul and Doug could come back for this special storyline. The buzz surrounding The Young and the Restless has soap fans on the edge of their seats, speculating about a potential bombshell return. One name that's been whispered throughout Geno City is Paul Williams, the iconic detective who walked away from the chaos a few years ago. But recent twists suggest that Paul's absence might be short-lived. Could Y&R be setting the stage for his grand return? And if so, could his comeback tie into an even bigger mystery, the shocking death of his daughter, Heather Williams? A shocking tragedy. Heather Williams, Paul's strong-willed daughter, hasn't been a central figure in Geno City for quite some time, but the latest spoilers hint at a devastating tragedy that could drag Paul back into the fold. Recent scenes have alluded to an off-screen incident involving Heather, one that has left her circle in shock. Though the details remain vague, the rumor mill is abuzz with talk of Heather's mysterious death. This chilling development could be the spark that brings the once-famed detective out of retirement. Heather's demise, if true, would rock Geno City to its core. As a former assistant district attorney and someone who always stood her ground, Heather wasn't someone to be taken down easily. So if this spoiler holds weight, there's a darker story lurking beneath the surface. And who better to uncover the truth than her father Paul? The seeds of Paul's return. Paul Williams' exit from The Young and the Restless was a quiet one, leaving many fans yearning for closure. As the show's resident good cop for decades, Paul was involved in some of the biggest storylines. His departure left a gaping hole in Geno City's justice system, with characters like Ray Rosales and Chance Chancellor stepping up to fill the void. However, neither could truly replicate Paul's calm demeanor and sharp investigative instincts. Recent spoilers, though subtle, suggest that Paul has been keeping tabs on his former home. Christine Blair, his longtime love and a power player in the city's legal system, has been spotted having cryptic phone conversations. Some eagle-eyed viewers believe that Christine has been secretly communicating with Paul, possibly to alert him of troubling news about Heather. It seems too coincidental that Christine has been acting more secretive than usual right around the time these whispers of Heather's death surfaced. As the storyline surrounding Heather builds, more characters seem to be referencing the Williams family. Nikki Newman was overheard discussing how much Geno City has changed without Paul's steady hand keeping things in check. Even Chance recently commented on the backlog of unsolved cases that Paul left behind. The show appears to be dropping breadcrumbs, preparing viewers for a seismic shift, a possible return of the man who always solved the town's most complex crimes. A father's quest for justice, Paul has always been a protector, both as a father and as a detective. If Heather has indeed been killed, it's not hard to imagine Paul being consumed by a desire for justice. He may have retired his badge, but he never retired his skills. Paul's determination to find out what happened to his daughter could lead to one of the Young and the Restless's most gripping murder mysteries in years. But this wouldn't just be any murder investigation, it would be deeply personal. Paul's journey wouldn't just be about catching a killer, it would be about avenging Heather's untimely death and coming to terms with his own guilt over not being there to protect her. His relationships with the key players in Geno City would inevitably be tested, particularly his bond with Christine. Could the strain of such a tragic loss pull them closer together or drive them further apart? Heather's death would also serve as a perfect opportunity to bring back other characters from the Williams family's past. Could we see the return of Ricky Williams, Paul's troubled son, in some capacity? While Ricky was presumed dead, this is Geno City, where no one stays buried forever. His reappearance could complicate things further, especially if Ricky's return is linked to Heather's death. A web of deception. Of course, no storyline in The Young and the Restless is ever straightforward. If Heather has indeed been killed, there's bound to be more at play than meets the eye. Speculation is rampant that her death may not have been an accident. Some believe that her involvement in legal cases outside of Geno City might have made her some powerful enemies. Others think that Heather could have been digging into a case tied to the Newman or Abbott empires, making her a target for retribution. And then there's the most tantalizing theory of all, that Heather wasn't the intended victim. Could it be that someone else was the true target, but Heather got caught in the crossfire? If so, who was this killer really after? Some fans believe that Heather's work with the law might have uncovered something that someone in Geno City wanted to keep hidden. Was she silenced before she could expose the truth? These questions leave endless possibilities for the writers to explore, creating a storyline ripe with twists, deception, and heartbreak. Paul's return, a hero or a broken man? If Paul does return, it won't be the same Paul Williams we remember. He's likely been away, grappling with the decision to leave behind a life of solving crimes. But now, faced with the unimaginable loss of his daughter, Paul may return to Geno City broken but determined. His reappearance wouldn't just be about solving Heather's case, it would also force him to confront everything he walked away from. Paul's return could also shake up the current power dynamics in Geno City. Will he clash with Chance over how to handle the investigation? And what about his old nemesis Victor Newman? Paul's history with the Newmans runs deep, and if any of them were involved in Heather's demise, things could get explosive. Ultimately, Paul's comeback could mark a turning point for the Young and the Restless. His journey to solve his daughter's death would be emotional, intense, and filled with the kind of suspense that soap fans crave. Whether he finds the answers he's looking for, or ends up losing himself in the process, one thing's for certain: Geno City would never be the same. Final thoughts? Paul Williams has long been one of the Young and the Restless's most beloved characters, and the idea of his return to investigate Heather's tragic death is tantalizing. It would bring a depth and intensity to the show that fans have been missing. Whether Paul will get the closure he seeks or be pulled back into the chaos of Geno City remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure: the stage is set for his grand return, and viewers can't wait to see if Paul Williams is ready to step back into the spotlight.